In today's video, we're going to implement the concepts that we learned in our previous video. We discussed IP addressing and different commands that can be used for network connectivity and other things. And we will also be discussing how we can assign those IP addresses to devices in Cisco Packet Tracer, and how we can test the connectivity to make sure that our network is found. So, for example, if we go for the minimalistic kind of a network, it contains at least two devices. For example, these are the two devices, and we connect them using a cross cable because they are the same kind of devices. So whenever we do that, we are not actually making a network, because we are just doing the connectivity. For the network to complete, we need to assign IP addresses. That would be the identifiers of these devices, because in our network we identify using an IP address, and if we want to communicate from one end to the other, we need to communicate using that IP address. And that's why we used the IP address in our ping command. And if we're using names, then the DNS will come into play, and it will convert our name into IP and IP into name. So for example, if we want to make a simplest network, the simplest, that contains only two devices, we will connect them, and then we will go to the desktop section and then IP configuration. And right now we're covering the static part. The DSCP part will be configured in our next videos, and we will be covering different types of DSCP configurations. But right now we're just covering the static IP assignment part. So for example, I'm using the subnet 192.168 and the 92 dot, and this would be the network part, and for example, one is the IP of this device. Okay, so we are going with the static IP assignments. So the first device has an IP of 1. I'm going with the symmetry of the devices. So for second PC, we're going to go to desktop and IP configuration, and then 192.168.92.2, for example, this is the second device. And the subnet mask, when I press tab, it will be automatically filled, but we need to know how many bits. And if you can see, the subnet mask defines the network bits, so the network bits are on, and the first 3 octets are on. And as if you remember, we talked about different IP addresses and different classes of the IP addresses, and how the subnet masks are formed. And for class C, the subnet mask was this one. Okay, so we have assigned the IPs. So now if we want to confirm which IP, so if we write IP config, we can see our own IP. So we want to check the connectivity with this second device. So if we go for 192.168.92.2, because this was the IP of the second device, if we press enter, there would be a successful reply, because we did everything correctly. We took the devices, we took the correct type of cable and connected them. So this is the minimalist type of network that we can make. So what if we have more than 2 devices? So when we have more than 2 devices, the most widely used network topology that is used is the star topology, in which we have a central device just like this one, a switch, and we will be connecting our devices to this switch, and this switch will be responsible for our communication, okay, between each of us. So for example, these are our multiple devices that we want to connect. So we will be connecting each device with the switch, and the switch will be our central device that will be responsible for the communication between each of us. So we will using a straight cable, because it's a different kind of family. So we also covered that in a previous video. If you're new to this channel, you can go back to our videos and see how we can connect different devices together. So we're just making connections right now. I'm going with the symmetry, the same port with the same PC. Okay, For example, this is the last connection. So the connections are complete. The next step is assigning IPs. We have already assigned IP to PC1 and PC2. So let's start from PC3, go for desktop and IP configuration. So I will just hurry up with the uh, IP assignment. You can pause and then catch up if it's too fast right now. Okay, so I'm just assigning IPs right now, going to desktop. The IP assignment process is the same in PC. Okay, the packet tracer has obviously a different kind of interface, and Windows will have some different kind of interface, but the process is same. So the concept remains the same. If you want to uh, know how to assign IPs on Windows, you can just do a simple Google search and you will be good to go. But the concept will be same. So this is the last IP, 192.8, 192.168.8. Okay, 92.8. Sorry. So let's try. We already pinged 2, so let's do that again, because now we have a central device between it. And if we write 3, it also ping, and hopefully our other devices will also ping, because if we did right by the configurations, they will ping. Okay, seven and 8 would be our last machine. Okay, so that's how you connect devices together using a switch, making a star topology, and it's also called a star network. And this is the topology that is widely used in every network. So, and you can connect different star networks together using, for example, we make a replica of it here, and then we connect that switch with the other switch, so we can do communication in both of the switches. So we can connect different star networks together also. We will be doing that maybe in our next labs, but right now this is all for this video. And in this video we covered how to make a star network, and we covered IP assignment using static IP assignment. And in our next video we will try how we can automatically assign IPs, because this is just only 8 computers, and what if they turn into 80 computers, so it will be a lot of work. So we can automate that process, and that could be done using DHCP. So stay tuned, take care.